Huzzah, and welcome, future and current artists, to another episode of Drawing with Dr. Doodle. Well, before we begin, you're only going to need two items. Hopefully you have these, a piece of paper and a pencil. Now, if you want to color your work in when we're done and you have a crayon or a colored pencil or markers, you can color it in when we finish today. However, if you don't have those supplies right now, you can always wait to color your work in when you get those supplies. So you know what? Let's begin. Hello and welcome to another episode. Today you are going to be following me as I show you the steps that I took to create a background for my artwork. So this is a page from a storybook of mine that I'm not fully done with, but it's called Miles of Space. So M-Y-L-E-S, that's the name of the kid. So Miles of Space, because the story is that Miles was assigned a homework project of drawing the solar system. And the night that he starts working on it, he falls asleep, and the solar system, the planets of the solar system, that is, they escape. And they are now in his room, and so he needs to track them down, find them, and put them back in his paper before he has to go down to dinner, or before he's called down for dinner. So this is the first page, and as you can see here, I actually did a rough sketch of this and roughly colored it in using watercolor paper. So what I did was I took a picture of that page, brought it into my iPad Pro, and now not only am I tracing it, but I'm going to actually make his room, or the background of this picture, more dynamic, more lively, and more detailed. And so I'm going to walk you through the steps that I took to reach that place, because this original sketch, this original drawing, to me, just wasn't as interesting, was not the best artwork I could do. And I wanted to make sure that what I put into this page, and each page for the book, was as detailed, lively, and interesting and entertaining as it deserved to be. So as you can see here, I'm taking my time. I'm just inking in Miles as he's drawing his work. And so moving forward after drawing Miles and starting to color him in, because I had the colors that I wanted for him and I was using it based on the original illustration. What I would suggest with the background is first to think about the space itself, especially if you have a character that's supposed to live in the space like Miles does. This is Miles's bedroom. So what you'll want to do is know who your character is. Who is Miles? What type of kid is he? What would he have in his room? So you might want to base, if it's a person like Miles, you might want to do what I did, which was base the room off of things that I had in my room when I was a kid, things that I know my friends and family members had in their rooms when they were kids. Think about friends who have, and family members who have kids right now, and what their kids have in their rooms. And then just think about what kind of kid Miles is, and then think about those items and things and think, okay, what would fit in the room? So I decided that what would be interesting is to make it so that way it's not just a bed behind him, and that he's not just at his at a desk, he's at an art desk. And I had an art desk later on when I was in high school, and the art desk would be on top of a rug. I thought, okay, so that will break up the floor. And from there, what you'll want to do, and what I did, was that, okay, above the bed, what will there be? I had a window. Let me add more details. Maybe this should be at night, because he's about to fall asleep. Why would he fall asleep if it wasn't just, dark out? So there'll be maybe a tree outside of the window. And from there, just things kept on falling into place. And I'll talk about those once we get to the point where I'm actually working on them. but I felt like this bed was just kind of boring. And also I wanted to have a space for where the planets, and that's the other thing too, the story is like a kind of hide and go seek with the planets. You're trying to find, it's almost like a Where's Waldo, you're trying to find the planets. So one of the places where I thought would be interesting for planets to be would be underneath the bed. But if the bed isn't on legs like that original bed was not, then we can't do that. And so that's part of why I changed the bed to one that has legs. And yeah, I had fun doing this. I actually think that I have 6 to 7 pages done already. Goal is to have close to maybe 30, 32, 34 maybe. I don't know, whatever. I need to have a lot more, but it is very easy to get busy with other things, or to not be as motivated, or to feel like it's hard to start up again when it's been a couple of years since I last worked on this. So also, as you can see, I started roughly sketching out on a different layer, what the parts of the art desk, a dresser right next to the bed, and the legs of the bed right there. And yeah, the best thing to do is to create a rough sketch, or just sketch out all of the things in your background first, so that way you will understand if how you laid everything out works, or if it looks nice, or if you want to change anything. And then you'll go in and add the details, like I'm doing here with the dressers, with the knobs to open up the dressers, and the details of the window and whatnot. I'm just trying to think of some other things that were on my mind before I started adding the details. But what I think is important is just to, again, make sure you have an understanding of who the characters are that live in your space that you're creating. And then from there, you can have a better understanding of what it is that you want to place in there. So this is a kid. He wouldn't just have bare walls. It wouldn't just be the windows and the furniture. So I added either a frame for either a painting or a poster. He wouldn't have just, I didn't want the bed just to be bare. So I'm like, okay, let's give him a dog. So that's what I'm doing right here. I think you'll see though that I found a picture of a dog that I really liked, and I ended up doing something that a lot of you think is cheating, and I ended up, I think, tracing it. But I don't think that that's an issue, as long as what you do is change it from the original. And it would be better though if I had just drawn it from looking at it, but I wanted to put more energy into the rest of the room, and so that's why I did what I did. I'm not sure if it will come up or if it will be too fast for that. Now, what I'm doing here is inking in the lamp on the desk, on the art desk. And yeah, from there, it's a kid's room. So what else would be in a kid's room but toys and maybe some other pictures, maybe on the countertops, on the dresser tops, maybe another picture above the bed or a poster. And so, that's how you design the background. You think of all the things that should be in a space to make it look more real, more lived in. So here I'm adding a container for all of his pens or pencils and or markers. I'm going into each detail of the dressers, the lines, going over and making them look more realistic. And from there, I'm able to add as much detail as I can. And I change things. If I'm not happy with something, I'm fine erasing it, starting over, or erasing a part of it, fixing it, and going back and trying to draw the details that I feel like will make it that much more lived in, if you will, just something that's more alive. And that's what's important about a background. It's as much detail as you can put in the background, it makes your artwork that much more dynamic and more interesting to look at. It's not just a fish. Maybe there's a lot of fish, a lot of sea creatures, or other things that live in the sea, so it looks more realistic. And that's what I would like all of you to do. You don't need to copy my work here. I don't expect you to. I would love to see you come up with your own room and fill it. It could be your own actual room, or it could be your dream bedroom. Draw what it is that you wish that you had in your bedroom. It doesn't need to be real. It could be like this rocket toy that's right there, or it could be actual rockets, which I didn't really like the outcome of this toy. I wasn't too thrilled with it. I didn't feel like that really suited Miles's room. So I got rid of it and I created another toy based on a character from a comic of mine. And there you go. That was the real dog. I really loved how, I felt like that was going, that would be Miles's dog, and it was very cute. So I took the dog, I traced over it, and I added the details. So I can hear all of you going, ooh, Mr. Gerard's cheating. But as you can see here, I'm making it my own, and I'm putting more detail, and I'm drawing from my own imagination, all the other stuff. So you get one tracing of somebody else's work. Anyway, so now I'm adding the folds of his blanket. I'm treating it like Miles doesn't really make his bed as perfect as maybe some of you do, and that adds character. That's part of who this Miles character is, and just by looking at that creates story without having to write something. And that's why it's important to add as many details as possible. You are creating a story through your images. That's why art is a great way to visually communicate certain things with other people, especially because it's from within. Usually it's a personal thing that you're trying to communicate. Now, can you find all of the details in this room? What's underneath the bed? What's underneath the dresser? Can you see some of the pictures? There are 3. Do you know what each picture is? Maybe you might have seen it. Maybe you're not totally sure. Can you find the garbage? Can you find the red marker? All of these details gets you to want to look around the room, which is the background, and it's just as interesting as anything else. Now the background becomes the whole artwork. So I can't wait to see what it is that you've created for your room, or your background, that is. As an artist, it's a good idea to take a break from your work. Taking a break allows us to look at our work with fresh eyes and possibly with some new ideas. So that's why we're going to take a puzzle break. And what type of puzzles are we going to do on Drawing with Dr. Doodle? Well, we're going to tackle puzzles that I love to do. They're called rebus puzzles. Rebus is spelled R-E-B-U-S. And what is a rebus puzzle? Well, I'm glad you asked. Behind me is an example of just one, and we're going to walk through the solution to this puzzle right now. So what word do you see behind me? Well, take your time. If you guessed the word behind me is hurry, then you're half right. What direction is the word hurry going in? Well, take some more time to solve that. Well, if you guess that the word hurry is going up, then you have half of the solution as well. So let's combine the 2 half answers or half solutions that we solved together. Hurry, so we've got the word hurry, and the word hurry is going up. And if you heard me just say that and it clicked in your head that the answer is hurry up, then you have solved this rebus. So with that out of the way, why don't you try to solve this puzzle by yourself, but you don't need to hurry up to solve this puzzle. Take your time And if you get your parents' permission, you can email the solution to thedoodledoctor@gmail.com. Now let's get back to the lesson. Now it's time for me, Harold, the extremely talented art critic, to critique your artwork.
Wait, what?
Don't
I didn't
worry,
agree
Dr.
to
D.
this.
I won't be too harsh.
Why, thank you. What?
Okay,
Wait.
fellow art detectives, let's get critiquing. What do you see? What do you think is happening in this artwork? What materials do you think the artist used to make this artwork? Does this remind you of anything? What questions do you have about the artwork? Pretend you can enter into the artwork. What do you see? What do you smell? What do you hear? What piece of the artwork is your favorite, and why? If you could change one thing about this artwork, what would you change? How does this artwork make you feel? Can you explain why? If you had to describe this artwork to a friend, what kind of words would you use? So, Dr. D, was that so hard now?
It wasn't hard at all, Harold. Thank you.
Is how hard I will critique him next time. Until next time, future and current artists, that's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed creating art with me and that I've inspired you to create as imaginative artwork in the future. If you'd like to have your work displayed on a future episode, obviously you need your parents' permission, but once you get it, you can email your artwork at thedoodledoctor@gmail.com. Well, bye!